right, what is going on? How's everybody doing today? Happy Thursday morning. What's up? It's actually Sunday morning when I'm recording this. A couple days in advance here, but I'm just chilling out. Woke up this morning, went for my little bike ride, did a little bit of stretching and some push-ups, and just got my body moving. Got ready for the day, did a little bit of reading. Now I'm just chilling out in the office. I got some music bumping in the background, but you guys can't hear it. But right now it's Soul for Real. Candy Rain. Don't know if you guys know that song, but that is what's bumping in the background right now. I recommend you go and check it out. Sick song, dude. Okay. All right. Hope you guys are doing well. I hope that this week is treating you well. If not, I hope that you're kicking its ass, or you're planning to kick its ass, or you're about to kick its ass, or you're trying to kick its ass. But I hope that you are getting after it this week and you're feeling good. I'm just, like I said, I'm chilling out here right now. I'm getting ready for the week. I'm having a little cup of tea and chatting and chilling with you guys. So I had this, I was thinking about something today, this morning, and as you guys probably have figured this out if you've listened to this podcast before, a lot of the time I come on here and it's just kind of me trying to figure out my own thoughts. And so I'll come on here and just talk. And really that's the best way that I know how to process a lot of the things that I don't know how to think about yet, if that makes sense. I've always just been somebody that figures things out as I say them, and then as I say them, I can kind of hear them and then analyze my own thoughts. And so it's kind of like a form of verbal journaling. So this morning I was chilling out in my office here, like I said, and I was kind of thinking about, something that I don't actually talk about or think about that often, because I don't know, I just kind of, I guess, put it on the back burner in my mind. It's something that I just, I've started to get myself in the habit of doing. And so because of that, I don't really have to think about it all that often. And so when I do notice it, it's usually when I'm noticing it in other people, which annoys me the most. One of the things I've found to be funny, which is also very frustrating, is, we finally, change something about ourselves. And then when we notice that same thing that we resent so much about ourselves in others, we kind of take it out on them as well. We kind of see their behavior or their activities or whatever they do, and we detach, there's some sort of misalignment in our thoughts and our logic, and we start to think that they're like a bad person because they do something that we used to do that, for us, it wasn't the right thing to do, or, we couldn't handle it probably. And, we take that out on them and we kind of see them as bad. And I think that, I don't know, it's just something that I noticed about myself, and maybe you guys can relate to that as well. But what I noticed about myself is, that tends to happen. We hate what we used to be. We hate what we changed from, what we had to abandon. We, sometimes we get frustrated when we see other people doing the things that we used to do that we've had to abandon and stop doing, and we get frustrated thinking, like, why are you still doing that? Like, why are you still, self-sabotaging yourself in that way, the way that I used to do? And even though you still probably do it in other ways, you self-sabotage, you do it in other ways, because you've changed a certain thing that you used to do in the past, and you no longer do that negative thing. When you see other people do that negative thing, you like, it's almost like you look down on them, like they're less than you because they haven't figured out that specific lesson. Then, obviously forgetting that we all have many more lessons to learn. So it's kind of a lesson about giving other people grace as well. But that's really just a reminder for myself too. And, I said you, but I should have said I, and sorry about that. But what I was thinking about today is something that I used to do a lot, and then I've changed this behavior, and now when I see other people do this, it frustrates me. That's why I was talking about what I was talking about. But This idea of self-talk or inner dialogue or, you know, I guess like a self-belief system. And I think that there's this faux pas, or like this kind of unpopularity, this maybe stigma around, self-talk and the way that you speak about yourself and the way that you speak to yourself and the way that etc. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. Because a lot of the times people call these, what do they call it? Positive affirmations. And I think that a lot of the time, you know, people people misconstrue what positive affirmations are. They the same way that they misconstrue what prayer is. The same way that they think that, just because you ask for something and you say that you're going to get something means it's going to happen. And I think that because of that, there's certain people that will think that that's how it works. You just think about something, you manifest something, you visualize it, and that's gonna be what delivers the promise. And realistically, that's a great belief system to have. I mean, it's probably better than not believing it's possible in the first place to achieve whatever you're thinking about. But it's not the entire recipe for getting what you like. In my experience and in my opinion, a lot of the times it's kind of the foundational building block. It's definitely the first step. You have to believe that something is possible. You can't just say it. You have to truly believe that something is possible for it to manifest in your life. If you say, hey, this is not possible, this is not gonna happen, or whatever it is, then yeah, it probably won't. Like, that probably will be a self-fulfilling prophecy. But just because you say something will happen doesn't mean it's going to manifest in reality either. A lot of the time, it's going to take a lot of rigorous effort, a lot of rigorous work. And that's not a foreign concept for all of us. Like, I know, we can try an experiment right now. Let's just think about, $1 million being deposited into our bank accounts. And if we all collectively think really, really hard, maybe one of us might have that deposit. And if you did just now, like, please share some with the rest of us. But the chances are it probably didn't happen, right? Because thinking about things and just like believing it could happen doesn't always mean it's going to. What that requires is also the hard work. And that's, like I said, not a foreign concept to all of us. But the reason it's impossible to believe in something, the reason it's possible, it's necessary to believe in something, is that you're not going to act on things that you don't actually truly believe in. I trying to think of like a good example of that, but I can't really. But I guess what I'll say is, I think a lot of us think of it, there's a lot of things that are binary in this world. And I think that there's some things that aren't. And I think that, self-belief sometimes is something that is quote unquote non-binary. It's a fun term to use. I actually like using that term myself. That's a pretty good term. But I think that self-belief is not really it's not really a binary system. I think that a lot of the times what happens is we have an inkling, an idea of something that is possible, and we think like maybe it is possible to improve. Like, for example, I know for myself, when I was growing up, I was always a little bit on the huskier side. I never had abs, right? I couldn't even visualize myself with abs. And when I first started working out, I used to think, like, maybe I can just get my arms bigger. Maybe I can just get, it was like never this idea of like, maybe I can look jacked. Maybe I could, it was like, maybe I can just get my arms bigger. Like this, just like call it like a 1% self-belief. It's not zero. It's definitely not a high number, but like, it's like a 1% self-belief. And then slowly, as you start to work towards something, you start to see progress. That self-belief level rises higher and higher and higher. But it's also not even a metric of like 1 to 100. It's not like even like a percentage thing, because the end game, like the the goalpost continues to move, because as your self-belief increases, then the higher heights that you try to reach for yourself actually increase as well, because you believe more in yourself. So it's kind of like an exponential growth thing. And I think a lot of us think of it as like, I either have self-belief or I don't have self-belief, or I wish I had self-belief, or, all of these different things. And I think that a lot of the time we're waiting and we're looking and we're wishing for something without realizing that self-belief is something that you have to develop. And the way that you develop it is by progressing and understanding, and also cultivating some sort of kind of awareness and mindfulness. Because I think a lot of the time we can be on these kind of journeys of improving ourselves, and we get this awareness of like, okay, I know where I want to go, and that can be kind of misleading sometimes emotionally, because we think, oh, I'm not there yet, and that feels bad. Which, I mean, yeah, I get that. Like, I feel like that a lot of the times in a lot of different areas of my life. But I think the important thing is to have the mindfulness and the awareness of looking at yourself right now, and looking at yourself of where you started, and think, I'm actually not a giant piece of shit. Like, I've made a lot of progress in a lot of different areas. And so for me, I can sometimes snap myself out of that negative self-talk and start to look at myself and say, I have made progress. And so because of that, like, I'm actually kind of proud of that. Like, that is something that is building my self-belief systems, because in that way, I'm able to see progress. And if I know that progress towards an improvement or something like that is possible, well, then I can believe, like, okay, yes, I have evidence that I have made a change before. And so if I put my head down and swallow my pride, then I could probably make a change right now and make this situation better, which is an empowering feeling. And I think that in terms of self-belief systems and that idea surrounding that, I do recommend, like, there's this amazing book called The Four Agreements. I don't know if you guys have read that book before, but I do highly recommend that book. It does kind of talk about these, he refers to them as like the agreements that we make to ourselves, either consciously or subconsciously. And, it's kind of the same concept as these self-belief systems, the same thing I'm talking about. And so this self-belief system, I think, is kind of the foundational building block of just like, you have to have faith in something. Sometimes it requires having faith in something even stronger than and more powerful than you, something bigger than you. And, that's why so many people turn towards religion and faith, and, because it's a source of belief even when you don't believe in yourself. You can believe in something bigger than you. And if you believe that that's a powerful force in this universe, or even maybe the force that was powerful enough to create this universe, then that's something that you can have faith in and believe in, if you think that that's that thing, may have your back. And so I'm not trying to tell you to pick a religion or anything, but it's maybe a tool you can use. We'll put it that way. To say the least, if you want to be a very utilitarian about it. But as far as self-talk, I feel like a lot of the times we, what I view self-talk and when I view that as is just what we say, either internally or externally. And the way that I would view what most people talk about in regards to self-talk and positive affirmations is just what we choose to focus on. Take note of the things that you say in your head or you say out loud. I know for myself all the time when I'm frustrated at work, I let out, a big sigh and I just fuck. And I just look around and I think about like, oh, why do I have to come across this problem? Why do I have to come across that problem? Take notes of the things that you're saying, both, internally and externally, inside your head and out loud. Take note of those things and notice, do you notice mostly these are negative things or positive things? And understand that we're kind of training our brains to search out and seek out more of what we actually already think about and believe in this world. That's like kind of that confirmation bias type of thing. Like, the idea of like if someone tells you, there's a lot of red cars out on the streets. All of a sudden you start noticing all the red cars. And then, the same thing happens. Like, yeah, Tony Robbins, I think, was on Theo Vaughn's podcast, and he said something similar where it's like, yeah, if you try and notice everything that's red in this room that you're sitting in right now, you could probably notice a lot of red things you didn't notice before. You might even notice some of the things that were in this room that you didn't even know were in this room before. And then if someone were like, yo, okay, now look in the room and notice all the brown things. You might even include some of the things that you considered to be red in the brown things. Like it's like kind of like it's kind of like a burgundy, like a brownie burgundy, like a brownie, I guess it's brown. Like you could convince yourself that something is the way that you want it to be. And so I think that self-talk is kind of the same thing. Like, when you notice and you say and you speak about all these negative things in your life, then of course you're going to notice more negative things in your life to confirm this bias that you have a negative life. Whereas if you wake up with gratitude and you think about, yeah, there's these things that are not very favorable that I'm not really happy about, but nobody's life is perfect and I've got it pretty good. Like most humans that ever existed ever had a worse life than me. So it's a pretty good life. I'm doing pretty good. It could be better, but it's pretty fucking good. And that's just a form of self-talk. And when you start to say those things and start to actually think about those things and you do understand that it's true, so you start to believe those things, the more you start to look around your life and look about your life and your house and and where you live and what you do with more gratitude. You're like, wow, this is a fucking awesome life. Like, I can't believe I woke up inside. I got food in the fridge. Are you serious? Like, this is pretty sweet. I'm not freezing to death. It's not hot as hell. It's not like whatever it is. And if you are dealing with those things, then that's, I'm sorry. And I'm sending you love. Maybe that'll improve. But that's pretty much it. Hope you guys are doing well. Happy Thursday. I'll let you guys get going on with your week, and I will check in with you guys on Monday. Much love. Peace out. Have a good one. Love you all. Bye.